from the westernunion.com VIP Lounge.
All the way live, man, with a brother, family member, close friend.
There's a lot of cameras here.
That's what happens in studios, bro.
Not any studio I ever been in.
Nah, man, we stepping it up a little bit, man. We trying to go.
I mean, you're trying to get every angle at the same time.
Every angle of them all, man. We trying to make sure we get all your good sides.
Yeah, I got a bunch.
Talib Kweli is in the building. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you feeling, bro?
It's always a pleasure to have you back around these parts. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How's it going, MCL?
I'm good. It's going good.
Tell me about it. What's going on?
I wear glasses now.
Is that real?
No, they're not. They're just fancy glasses that I wear that look fancy and look smart.
I thought you was like, you know, what's it called? Stigmatic, whatever it's called.
No, I'm just getting old.
Nah, come on, brother.
My reading glasses.
Hold
on, I need to get my reading glasses out.
I would pay for you to start. I like to read this rap off first that I wrote for y'all.
Hold on, y'all.
Right before the freestyle, put his glasses on. What's going on with Jamodi Media, man? Tell me about Jamodi, man. Don't do that. Don't take it back to the old school. It's a young man's game.
Javodi Media is going very well, going strong. Shout out to Nico Is over there. The last thing we released was Nico Is Brutus. The next thing we will release is most likely myself and Madlib, Liberation 2.
Oh, word. Tell me about this.
Liberation 2.
Thank you.
I told you about it.
It's like my friend. He always tell me like last minute. I always get shocked by stuff. Like, really?
I'm telling you first. People don't even know about that. You got a world premiere. It's just I don't know when it'll be out yet, but soon come.
How'd that come together?
Well, you know the first Liberation I just put out on MySpace.
Right.
This one we're gonna do that now because the world done code up to us. Now everybody just put their records out. Ain't no rollout no more. You just hey,
here, take this.
Guess what? So that's how we gonna do it. So soon come.
That's what it is, man. Me and you have had many talks about many things, and I have many arguments inside this building. Today's question for you is...
What's today's question?
What is the current way of making a classic album, or does the classic album still exist?
I think the classic album does and can exist. I don't think there's any one way to make it. You know, there's not one way to make a song. You know, we are overwhelmed by content. So I think it's harder than it was when you and I first started listening to hip hop to automatically pick the classics. Like I think when we first, back in the days, 20 years ago, when I first got involved in hip hop as a business, it was very easy to look at the year's releases and be like, that one's gonna be a classic. Now, people are releasing music in so many different formats, so many different ways to make hip hop music that it's hard to say, and just the content comes at you so fast. It's hard to say what's classic. It's really hard to say what's classic until a few years down the road. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like Drake is a very influential hip-hop MC. People consider him the best of his generation right now, but no one talks about his albums being classic at this point. I think they will in time. I think when time goes on, people start to realize, you know, maybe this album was stronger than this one. Maybe this is a classic and this isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think... you know, I think with Kendrick, the excitement behind Kendrick releasing an album, the excitement, the way that J. Cole rolled out Forest Hills Drive, you know, Joey Badass album, you know, Run the Jewels being a conceptual album, being an album that was concise and being an album that was strong enough to be like the most critically acclaimed hip hop album. You know, the album is there, but just the platforms and the ways that we receive the album is so different. It's harder to be like, okay, that's the definite standout classic.
Now, with you, who has a few classics under your belt.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you can do it like that. When you got the recording process now, are you thinking of this is the concept of my album, or I'll make these songs and make it fit together to be an album, like in the way you're making your stuff now?
I've done that both. I've done both those things. The last two albums I did was Prisoner of Conscience and Gravitas. Prisoner of Conscience I worked on for 4 years, and the idea behind that was just to be lighthearted and have more fun. People look at my music as being content heavy, and I'm never gonna get away from that. And Prisoner of Conscience had a lot of content on it, but I tried to approach it sonically in a way where people would be gravitated to the sounds and put less of the weight on me lyrically. Whether I did that or not remains to be seen in the public's eye. I feel like I did a good job of it. Gravitas was a lot more laser focused. Gravitas was me making an independent statement. So a lot of the song material was about that recording process. It was about that statement. It was about these are the new rules of release. I'm looking for new leaders. You know, this is my inner monologue of what I be thinking. You know, it's like it was very much addressing where I was at in my career.
So, like, when you try to produce these records, do you see that the listening process is not the same? Do you think that, man, me trying to give 45 minutes of solid content to a person that only pays attention 3 minutes at a time and just throw away, is it more of a challenge, or is it more like I just got to mold myself to do this now?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a challenge. It's a challenge to keep people's attention in the era where we get so much that it's hard to look. I've had Kendrick Lamar album in my phone for a week. I haven't had a chance to listen to it because there's too much other things I'm distracted by. I want to give it my full attention. You know what I'm saying? But being a DJ helps. Like me DJing professionally over the last few years has helped me to understand sonics better, BPMs better, how songs flow together, what moves people, what sounds in the beat move people. And so as a DJ, you know, you have to constantly pay attention to the floor. And you could lose the floor if you get into your own zone. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you have to be like, okay, like I'm in this vibe, but I can only stay in this vibe for but so long before I start losing the energy. I got to switch to this vibe. And so now I approach my albums and the sequencing like I approach DJing. And I've learned a lot from doing that, and I feel like it's helped me with my life. I feel like Gravitas in particular, because I stepped up the DJ thing around the time I was, you know, working on Gravitas. I feel like Gravitas in particular is closer to where I'm trying to be as far as sequencing the album.
Now, for someone that's MCs, made albums, did shows, now you're DJing, what has been the biggest thing you've learned from DJing through all your past experience? Because, you know, when you rocking a crowd is one thing, but when you playing records, you're like, all right, they're not gonna sit through this whole song. Right. So now you're like, oh wow, this is crazy right now.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes me have respect for the working class DJ. Right. It makes me have respect for the DJ that has to DJ in a place where no one's paying attention to the music. It makes me respect the DJ where people are paying too much attention to music and they don't want to hear nothing unless they've seen the video already. You know, it just makes me just respect the art of it. It gives me an understanding of just what DJs go through. But I also learned that, and that's one hand. Also learned that a lot of these DJs are either cowardly or just not as skilled as I would like them to be. Right. You know, I also learned like, okay, now that I am doing it, I can see why DJs don't take certain chances. I can see why DJs would rather make certain decisions that us as MCs or us as consumers or fans may not understand. Right. But I also say, okay, well now that I'm doing it, here's a way that I could do it, and I appreciate seeing great DJs who can go in and out. Like, I think you are a great DJ because I think you having such a role at KMEL allows you to be in touch with what is happening trend-wise in hip-hop. But you also are older, and you come from my generation. It's like you are very opinionated when it comes to your music. So you're not scared to play nightclub music, strip club music. You might like them songs, but also when it comes to the aesthetic of hip-hop, you have a very strong opinion because you lived it. You know it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Serato and technology make things easier for everybody. But if you don't have the skills first, you're not using the tool right. You know what I'm saying? And so I learned just had respect for that skill. You know, it's when you go to Serato in New Zealand, it says everyone's a DJ, and that's cute. You know what I'm saying? But the pictures they have up are like of Revolution and J-Rock, and they have the pictures of those dudes up, and not everybody's them dudes.
On their level.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Now, for those that don't know, that my man Kweli does get down when he DJs, but don't go for think it's the conscious DJ.
I play some conscious records.
You do. He gave you some conscious, but then it's been the first time I went, I was like, oh man, he going in. All right.
He's all right.
So when people come to see you, sometimes you go that route, they be like, oh, I didn't think Kweli's gonna get down. They didn't know you was really rocking like that. Like he go in there, cuss words, all that. Do it, go.
Yeah, I mean, I like to play good records, man.
Right.
And to me, a good record is not a conscious record. Doesn't make a record good. You know, a record's good because it's good. So if this is a good record about, you know, eating ass or something, because there are good records about eating ass. Y'all play them on KMEL.
Nah, brother. I'd have been through the playlist.
Y'all just play the censored version. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, if it's a good record, it's a good record. You know what I'm saying?
We won't have to check the playlist of the ass eater track. And whoever he is, I'm not interviewing or using his mic after that. I'm quite good on that one. Kweli is in the building. So what we got to look forward to, man? What's the next project to drop?
I mean, so there's Liberation 2. There's Radio Silence I'm working on. This has a host of producers and guests. But I want, that's a big, bigger project than Liberation. Liberation is more like, just me and Madlib working it out. But
How's that dance go?
that's the liberation dance.
All right, that's a liberation dance. I like that. I like that. I like that. How can we look forward to this, man? It's coming soon.
Yeah, man, we're just gonna drop it out the blue. You're gonna wake up in the morning and you're gonna be like, man, Kweli didn't send me this.
Yo, is like in the artist world? Is that like how do you understand that nowadays? Like I wake up and we be sitting somewhere and go, yo, the album just dropped, and we have to go like you have to go get it instantly. That's like weird to me.
Well,
it's like Christmas just happening on the 3rd.
Earl Sweatshirt and for a second Kendrick's Peoples both said that the label dropped it without someone made a mistake. I don't really know how true that is or what's going on with that. I know Drake was a little different. Just for my personal, I wasn't around hanging out with Drake and 40 and his uncle and whatnot. But just for my own personal, I think Drake likes to be a part of the conversation. And the conversation was very much about, I think it was about Kanye that week. It was a different conversation, and I think Drake was like, wait a second, they went a whole 3 days and they didn't talk about me. And I think he was probably working on the album, was probably close to being done. And it was probably, or maybe maybe they had it planned all along, like, we're gonna drop this day and then we're not telling nobody. Either way, it was a great move. He's taken up 60% of the slots in hip hop. Drake is not, to me, making music that's necessarily about the club, but he's paying attention to what's going on in nightclubs and especially Atlanta scene. That's what's a hotbed of hip hop. The Bay and Atlanta is really the hotbed of hip hop right now. Drake and Houston a little bit too still. Drake is paying attention particularly to them scenes and making music cater to them scenes, but talking about his feelings, his place in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people relate to it, and people stand on the couches and pretend they Drake and they love it.
As a fans aspect, does it seem like it's cooler now? Because it seems like you guys are playing games with us. Like it's like hide and seek with the albums. Like, oh man, they dropping music today. It used to be like set days. Everybody had like Woo Wednesdays and Wheezy Wednesdays, and it was like we knew it would come this day. Is it more fun to go like give it to them Thursdays, and not tell nobody, make them talk about it?
The fan is more savvy nowadays. The fan sees through the marketing campaign because the fan has a direct connection with you through social media. It's not this mystery of when it's going to come. The fan knows it. The fan doesn't want to be overly marketed to. I think Kanye has mastered the anti-marketing marketing. Like when you learn about Kanye record, it's not because you got a promo email from Def Jam. It's because Kanye put his face on a building or he got some new sneakers out or something. Like that's Kanye's marketing is, look at me, look what I'm doing. Oh, by the way, here's my next song. He before Kanye mastered that on the internet, the way he was doing it was with award shows. He'd show up at MTV Awards and perform a new song, and 2 weeks later you'd hear that new song on the radio. So it's just it's the idea of respecting that the audience knows more, respecting that the audience is not as dumb as they used to be, not dumb is the wrong word, but not as uninformed as they used to be, and understanding that, look, things move, the news cycle is quicker. The reason why magazines and newspapers are obsolete, because by the time you print it and get it out there, that's old news. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not on your Twitter or Instagram or whatever as a news outlet, posting it right now as it happens, you're late in the game. The music business is the same. It's like, it's right now. You want to catch the people's attention right now? Boom, make it an event right now. And try to do the run up to the event, it just loses gas, it loses steam.
That's what it is. Talib Kweli in the building, man. It's always a pleasure to have you in the spot. Just want to tell the people, and matter of fact, tell them where they can get all the information on Javoti Media. Yeah,
follow Javoti Media, JAVOTTI Media at Twitter. Come to JavotiMedia.com, TalibKweli.com, Talib Kweli Twitter, Nico High Twitter. Just Google, man. Y'all don't have to explain this, man. Y'all know how to use your cell phones,
they know,
man.
just in case they don't know.
Google Kweli. Google Nico is, and all types of goodness will pop up.
That's what it is.
Come to QualiClub.com, definitely, though. That's my store. You come there, I get your emails. We have a personal connection.
Like that?
Yeah, you could be like Big Vaughn. You could be just like Big Vaughn. Come to QualiClub.com. You get the same relationship that me and Vaughn have had over 20 years. You get from just buying me one album at QualiClub.com.
Just get one. You get a 20-year relationship. We got more coming up for you. Keep it locked right here.
Hey, yo, it's Talib Kweli. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more exclusive interviews, live performance right here on 106KMEL.com.